Hey everybody, this is Ted Check. So I wanted to do a video about arm wrestling. I've been an arm wrestling fan for a number of years now, and so recently, for those of you who don't know, recently arm wrestling had what was billed as the biggest match of all time. You had Devin Larratt over here on the left in the red shirt. He's a Canadian and is almost 50 years old, and he arm wrestled this guy, Levan Saganashvilli. And so basically it was for the #1 position in the world in the super heavyweight division. Because this guy right here is 6'3" and nearly 400 pounds. Probably may at some point have gone over 400. But Devin Larratt is about 2 inches taller. He's 6'5" and used to compete at like the 225 pound, but he's gotten up as high as almost 300. But for this, I think he was more like 265 or something. So we're talking about a serious weight disadvantage for Devin Larratt. And then also, Levan, I believe, is younger. I'm not sure exactly how much younger he is, but he is considerably younger than Devin Larratt. So, you know, everything was stacked against Devin Larratt, and he did lose pretty convincingly against Levan. So, Levan Saganashvilli is considered the absolute #1, the top arm wrestler in the world. You know, certainly the top super heavyweight, but nobody below him is in weight is going to beat him either. So he's the top arm wrestler in the world, but he is not the greatest of all time. You know, Devin is saying, well, he is the greatest ever or whatever. He's the greatest I've faced. Greatest. A lot of people are saying that. Oh, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's not the GOAT. He's not the GOAT for a number of reasons. First of all, he is not the GOAT because he's bigger than everybody else, okay? And generally speaking, the heavier you are, generally speaking, I mean, as long as you have the strength and the skills, he combines everything. He's got the strength, he's got the skills, and he's got the size, okay? No, there's nobody bigger than him, I don't believe. Maybe taller, but there's nobody that weighs 400 pounds that's arm wrestling today, aside from Levan. That's #1. So he should be winning, right? The other thing is he hasn't been going long enough to be the GOAT. You know, one of the reasons why Tom Brady is considered the GOAT in football, not only because he has 7 Super Bowl championships, but because he played football practically longer than anybody else. I mean, the longevity is one of the concerns, or one of the factors, I think, in being the GOAT. Now, this says here that Levan, I don't know when he started, but they're starting it from 212. So, or 2012. So that's what, 12 years. Yeah. Well, after winning the 2013. So let's just say Levan's been going for about 12 years. That's not long enough to be considered the GOAT. Okay. The other thing is, and in that time, he really hasn't been all that active. Okay. So arm wrestled twice in 2013, 3 times in 14, once in 2015. Like he's very infrequent with his arm wrestling. Let's contrast that with John Brzenk, who is the GOAT, who is in fact the GOAT. Okay, John Brzenk has been arm wrestling since 1982. All right, is still arm wrestling today. He's not the same arm wrestler he was. Look at that. There's a lot of losses there recently, but he's still going. And look at how frequently, you know, in 21 that they've got him at 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in 2022. Slowed down a little bit in 2023 with 5, and then only 1 this year so far. But still, how active is that guy? And more importantly, more than 500 championship titles. Levan isn't anywhere even close to that. Not even close. And beyond that, a lot of times John Brzenk was going against guys who were far heavier than him. So the stakes were higher. That, you know, the deck was stacked against him. He was usually the smaller guy. Whoever he arm wrestled, he was usually the smaller dude. So, you know, just to look at them, you'd say, well, you know, geez, the bigger guy's going to win. And a lot of times that is the case, not always. But like I said, generally speaking, if you've got the skills and the strength, then the size is also a factor. And John Brzenk just was an absolutely gifted arm wrestler and was able to surmount those odds. You know, when it looked like, oh, there's no way this guy's going to win against, you know, he's arm wrestling 300 pounders, you know, and he's like 220, 230 or whatever, but he would win. See, so that's also what makes him the GOAT. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on Levan. He is very, very good. He's very good. If you were to go for another 20 years, maybe you could then call him the GOAT. But here's one more thing. When he arm wrestled Hermes Gasparini, we saw a major kryptonite in Levan Saganashvilli, in that he had to have oxygen because his cardio failed him. That's another thing that doesn't make him the GOAT. Okay, that's a knock on the guy. That's you know, a physical disability, if you will, that doesn't make him you know, that makes him not in that GOAT category, because he's got that could be a real big problem for him in the future if he doesn't finish opponents fast. If an opponent's able to drag things out like Hermes Gasparini did, then that's going to be a real big problem for Levan. And like I said, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the guy. He's a very, very good arm wrestler. He's the best in the world right now, but he is definitely not the greatest of all time. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you later.